from here for the footy club, mate? Obviously not the start you would have liked, but you're confident you can turn things around?
Yeah, prefer not to be 0-3, but whilst we're in that position last year, it's a completely different team. But yeah, we're pretty confident in what we can do and the things we need to work on to be able to get back on the winners list.
Some rumours yesterday that you're calling in some reinforcements. Any truth to that?
What reinforcements?
Extra players from elsewhere, or?
No, not that I know of. We have the same boys going around and training every week, so we've talked to plenty of players over the pre-season about potentially playing this year, but there's certainly nobody new coming from the woodwork.
You were competitive for a lot of that game on the weekend. What do you attribute that drop off to?
Running out of cattle in the end, really. Yeah, we were competitive. We were competitive round one as well. Round two, our effort wasn't great, but we pride ourselves on being competitive for as long as we can, and we battled hard for as long as we can. In the end, ran out of legs.
How much were you missing voices like Bryce Walsh's and Thor Boscott's in that
Oh, massively. Any week we could have Bryce and Thor in our team, we'd definitely prefer that. Unfortunately, we don't have either at the moment. It's something we've got to deal with, but if we could have them, we'd love to have them.
Just in terms of the gelling with all these new players, are you surprised? Is it obviously taking a bit longer than everybody had initially thought?
Maybe from the outside, but being inside a footy club, players can't just walk in and start performing to exactly how we want to straight away. It's going to take them 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, however long it takes to actually gel. I know three of the NT boys only got in just when we played Clarence in a pracky, so it's 2 weeks before the season, and the fourth one came Thursday before round one. So they're all very good players and they're all going to be great for our footy club, but it is going to take them time to actually gel into how we want to play and our game plan and what we want them to do. But individually they can take the game away from you tomorrow night, but it'll take time.
How frustrating is that? Are these injuries given Lauderdale seem to cop them every year in a big way, except for last year, and we saw it did last year?
Yeah, it is frustrating, but that's footy. You've got to deal with it. We've got a list of 40, 45 players that we trust to play footy, no matter if it's seniors or two. So if we've got injuries, we bring other guys in. So that's what we do.
Danger game on tomorrow night, mate. I suppose obviously they don't want to go 0-4, but assuming the Tigers are starting to improve.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see the way they played round one, and whilst they got beat by North, they were certainly competitive and had a go. So every game's a danger game this year. Teams are pretty good across the board, so we'll go out there, focus on our game, see what we can do, and hopefully get some 4 points on the board. Certainly don't want to be 0-4.
Having to adapt to an entirely new situation.
Yeah, well, we've made a real emphasis this week of changing our language about the way we talk about Lauderdale. We're not so worried about who's not there. Obviously that's widely talked about through the media and whatnot, but we're worried about who is there because there's still some quality there. You know, I think they were quite competitive for long patches of the game against Lonnie. You know, you look at stoppage, Bell Chambers is a really good player. Josh McGuinness gives them run and carry from the back half, and Ben McGuinness probably, I reckon in my opinion, is probably one of the most underrated players in the comp. You know, there's a reason why Ben was in an AFL academy. You know, he can play anywhere on the ground. So we're more worried about who they do have, and we're not too worried about what isn't there.
Do you think there'll be a bit of desperation from their point of view tomorrow night, given their situation and expecting really tough, especially maybe early?
Yeah, absolutely, and that'll be fantastic for our group as well to have a hungry team with their back against the wall. You know, we're 1-1 as well, so you know we're not obviously setting the world on fire too. So it's a big game for us. So every game you've got to be desperate, because if you don't, yeah, you can get yourself in a little bit of trouble.
How do you make sure the boys are up after the bye, mate?
Yeah, it's been really good. We had a few boys that were a bit sore after the first couple of games, so we've been able to freshen them up. We've trained normal, like pretty hard. We gave them the weekend off, but we had a couple longer sessions last week on Wednesday and Thursday. We went pretty hard again on Monday, and we've backed off the boys now leading into what's a big sort of 5 days for us, obviously, we're only thinking about Lauderdale at the moment, but we do have to front up next Wednesday as well.
Will you take that into consideration tomorrow night if you are going okay in the game and it looks like you may win, you might start resting players, or how do you see that?
No. We're focused on Lauderdale for 120 minutes, so we'll go full throttle. Whatever the margin is, whether we're up, down or it's close, we can't afford to start looking ahead to Wednesday.
Do you expect to be able to get same 22, barring injuries, of course, through 2 games of that, or are you planning on maybe having to have some reinforcements?
We've just got to see how we get through the game firstly and how guys pull up Saturday morning. You'll have to kickstart your recovery straight away on Friday night and start again on Saturday. It'll all be about recovery. You can't do too much skills-wise or train too much to get them over the line. So it's really just be a matter of seeing how everyone gets through if we do have injuries. But we've got our Mercury Cup started 2-0, which is fantastic. So there's some guys there who are knocking down the door looking to get an opportunity to play senior footy as well. So yeah, we'll just see how we pull up from tomorrow night.
Any major changes from your game a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, we've got our 3 ins, which is fantastic. Connor Bryan obviously back for us, which is huge because Connor's one of those small pressure forwards who was really good against North Hobart, kicked 2 goals in round 1. Ben Donnelly will come back from the Mariners, and Nick Hutchinson will play his first game for the footy club. He probably had a little bit of a knee issue. We could have played him round 1 and 2 at 90%, but we're sort of looking long term. We'd rather have, instead of risking him for 2 games, we wanted him to get to the bye and have a good block of training in, and then have him for the final 16 games. And like Nick's a super talent, we're really looking forward. He gives us a lot of flexibility. He can go forward, back. So we're looking forward to what he can do. And as to who goes out, we'll have a look at that tonight and see who gets through training.
Yeah. How are you looking there for the game tomorrow night, and you're looking forward to playing the Lights?
Yeah, Friday night footy, anyone wants to be involved with that. We had a really competitive game last week for a half, and our challenge is now to make sure we are in games longer. And the boys, most coaches say we've had a good week on the track. There's a few changes, but we're looking forward to getting out there tomorrow night.
There must have been some really positive signs you could take out of that first half last week.
It was really good. We needed a response, and the guys gave us a response. Nearly having 50 tackles in the first half was exceptional. I know it's been said in the media we rolled people behind the ball, but as far as we were concerned, we were one-on-one all over the ground as much as we possibly could. And the guys, there was a lot of communication, a lot of directional voice out there, and that's the reason we're in the game at half time.
It's all about sort of small victories for you guys now, like a competitive, first quarter or...
Yeah, as I've said for the whole entire season thus far, it's all about learning. And the boys bounce into training again on Monday night. We go through the review, and there was a lot more positive things in the review this week than there was the previous week. So it's just a matter of improving each week and making sure that we're more consistent over 4 quarters.
Tough ask, mate. I guess what you're up and about at the moment.
Yeah, flying. PK's come down and stepped into a great position. He's obviously doing a great job as well. But they've been probably the best team in the South really over the last sort of 4 or 5 years, and their top end talent's really good, and obviously got a lot of depth now as well. So it's going to be a big ask, but something we're looking forward to.
Have you noticed anything that they're doing differently in the first couple of games this year as opposed to under Ace a couple of years ago?
Just across the board, they're just playing a really exciting brand of footy. Their defensive mechanisms look to be really good as well. They've restricted both Bombers sides to around 60 points in both games this year. So when you can get those things right, and obviously with the scoring power they have as well, they're going to be a pretty big beast tomorrow night.
You mentioned a few changes, mate. What do you got lined up or something?
Joshy Cleaver misses through broken ribs. Will Pepin's been picked in the Mariners, which is really good for Will. He's had a good month for us. So we'll have a debutant that we'll announce tonight, but also Sean Willis is back in for his first game of the year, which is exciting for us and for Sean.
Great player, obviously. Big tick to get him back in.
Yeah, it is. He's been training consistently now for a month. It's pretty hard for him coming straight out of captaining South Hobart and playing second 11 games. So mentally he needs a bit of a break just to freshen up. But he has been training really hard. He's been doing a lot of extras. So as a coaching group, we're more than happy to bring him straight in.
KG5, the bigger ground, mate, I suppose. Anything you have to change as opposed to playing at home?
Obviously last week we were very hard at the ball in terms of the amount of tackles we had. Obviously the bigger ground out there, you'd think it probably suits with our leg speed, so we probably got a quicker side this week than we've had the last couple, so I've just got to try and control the footy a bit more and get out into the space and let the kids really run.
So on the contract extension, mate, well done, obviously. What, I think when you took on the job, you sort of said you're going to do this year and see how it went. What's changed your mind, I guess?
Probably when I took over, I wanted to make sure the club survived first and foremost, and I thought I was the right person to do that. But as you get involved and your passion for coaching comes out, you realise that you've got a talented young group. And I don't want to be the sort of coach that coaches for 1 year and then there's change again. But also off field, I can see that things are in a really good place. Like the board has been working sensationally. So the things off field are going to enable the footy club to grow and be better next year. So when they offered me the year with the chance of another year on top of that, I was only too willing to take it. So it gives the guys, they can look at me and know that I'm going to be coaching them for at least the next basically 2 years. So it's even nice just to have that, I don't think the right word, not safety, but it's just good that I've got them for 2 years, so I know that I can put things in place this year that's going to benefit the club next year.
Pretty happy place out at KG5 at the moment?
Yeah, we're pleased with how we started, obviously. I said during the week, it's not so much, the margins or the wins, but the brand of footy we've played, which is exactly not exactly, but really close to what we've been working towards over pre-season. So I think all the players and myself, just getting that bit of confidence from the fact that, what we've been working towards is on the right track and it's working pretty well at this stage.
Do you think you could have won by even more last week, looking at the game?
Well, I mean, every game of footy, the margin could have been different, depending on some little things. But, I think it was a really clinical performance. There weren't too many areas or periods where we dropped away for too long. When North Lonnie did come at us, we answered pretty quickly. So just really happy with that performance. We know it was an undermanned team and they'll be tougher later in the year, but just from our point of view, the way we went about things was really good.
When did you get wind of obviously what was going on up there? And does that impact you guys? I mean, obviously, you plan one way, and when you hear they're going to have a host of changes, so how did it all come about from here?
Yeah, it was during the under-18s game. My team manager gave me a call and just said, I'm hearing this rumour of a few guys out. And but it wasn't until we got the team sheet that we knew for sure, and we didn't change anything. We didn't tell the players, playing North Lonnie up there at York Park is a tough ask no matter who's playing for them. So we just wanted to go out and execute exactly what we prepared for all week, and the guys did that really well, and so that was pleasing. But yeah, it's one of those ones where you can all of a sudden think, do we change this or that at the last minute? But you probably just confuse the guys. So we just stuck with what we'd done, and it worked.
You mentioned you haven't had to get the players up because they've been doing that themselves. Is it a similar case in terms of keeping them grounded as well after a win like that?
Yeah, we've got a core group. We've got 8 or 9 premiership players in the team who have been through seasons, so they do understand the way it works. And we don't really look very far ahead at all. I mean, this week is Braden Webb's 150th game, so that's massively important for our club that we put on the right show for Braden. I haven't known him for a long time, but he's just an exceptional leader. As a coach, he's just so fantastic to work with. He's really, he works hard, he drags other players along, but he's really open and honest too, and he's been great for me to work with. He's one of our midfield coaches this year, and he's been doing a great job at that. He just puts everything into the club. So we just really want to make sure we play the right style of footy this week, to give him what he deserves. And, we've got an offer this week where New Norfolk footy club members and people from New Norfolk who bring their driver's licence get in for free because, New Norfolk has produced a lot of great footballers for Glenorchy, including Pidge, and we want that community to get around and really support him and make it a special day for him.
So you're obviously going to start as pretty warm favourites. Obviously, you feel as though the group you've got are well aware of what they need to do to make sure you don't drop off that 5-10% to maybe give North Hobart a step.
Yeah, well, our preparation this week has been exactly the same. Tuesday night we had our sort of preview of the week. We watched the vision of what North Hobart do well, what they're going to try and make us do. those kids are buying into what Bear wants them to do. You know, you can see that. They play that style of footy where they try and drag you up the ground and rip in behind you and put pressure on you that way. And, you know, they're getting it right more and more as they go. So we certainly respect their strengths. You know, the guys are going to have to be on to counter that. So we're not treating it any differently at all.
Oh mate, you beat the Bombers out here last year, but times have changed and your team's changed a little bit since then, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's changed a lot. Probably changed a little bit again this week as well. We've got some guys out and probably got 2 or 3, potentially 4 players who will make their debut for the club this weekend, so that's exciting for us. But yeah, look, obviously North Launceston will get some players back this week, and you know we expect them to bounce back, so it's going to be a good challenge for us and one that we're looking forward to.
Who's touched on it then, mate? The Bombers are a very proud football club. They would be happy with that result against Glenorchy. How tough a battle do you expect?
Well, I think Taylor said it in a post-match press conference against Glenorchy. They still won contested ball and clearance, so it shows that they were still in for the fight. They probably just lacked a little bit of polish. They're going to bring the same effort every week, no matter who's playing, and we expect the same from our players coming in this week as well.
Who you got out then, mate?
So Ryan Edmondson's got a sore shin. He's got a shin splint, so he'll miss probably about a month of footy. Jason and Ryan Barley are both away on the mainland, so there's 3 outs there. Trent Stanley's still unavailable with injury, and so is Keegan Wiley. So we've still got a little bit out of our best 22. But I think it's exciting for the guys coming in to see what they can bring to our team, and we keep learning each week with new guys coming into our club. So I think we had 8 new guys round 1. We've probably got up to 11 that we'll see fresh new faces into our team this week.
Your take on the benchmark side of the comp, what's the goal? Is there a measuring stick that you know, obviously wanting to win, but anything in between that you're looking at?
I'll probably just effort and endeavour. Like, we want to play the same each week, and you know we'll have a look at North Launceston, what they do well, and we'll try and counteract that and try and play our brand of footy as well. But I think every week you want the same effort and endeavour. If you get that, then I think you can teach the players throughout the week or on game day where they need to improve. But if you don't have that as the fundamental of your game, then I think you're in some strife.
The blokes that missed last week for North Lonnie, obviously they want to get them back in as soon as possible. Do you think they'll be a little bit underdone given the illness?
I'm not too sure. I don't think I've ever had gastro, so maybe early in the week they might have been, but I'm sure by Saturday they'll be ready to play, and I'm sure Taylor will make the right decision if they're not right, that they won't play. So look, they've obviously got some very good players to come in and guys that are going to challenge us. So if they play, they play. If they don't, they don't. Not much will change for us.